Japan,
Sounds fun.
and we're going to be looking at their podcast script and a playlist that they curated.
Ooh, interesting combo.
Yeah. I'm excited to see how the playlist sort of like enhances the script.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they like reference the playlist in the script or if it's just kind of like a background thing.
Yeah, it kind of like sets the mood.
Yeah.
So we're going to kind of unearth like some memorable moments from their trip and some cool details, even some practical tips.
Perfect.
So first stop,
Okay.
Tokyo, the city of contrasts, right?
As always.
Yeah, they describe it as this blend of futuristic and traditional elements, which I'm sure for anyone who's been to Tokyo is like,
Yeah, that's Tokyo.
yeah,
It's like Blade Runner, but also like Zen gardens.
exactly.
That's exactly it.
That's what makes it so captivating, I think, that blend.
Yeah, you can be surrounded by the craziness and lights, and then you just wander into a temple, and it's like,
Total peace.
yeah.
And speaking of that craziness, they had this funny anecdote about Andreas finding retro games from his teenage years
I love that.
in Akihabara. Seems like that place is like a haven for nostalgia.
It's interesting how Japan has all this like cutting edge technology,
Yeah.
but they really do a good job of preserving their cultural heritage too.
Yeah.
So you're right, it is a haven for nostalgia.
Yeah, and then contrast that with Maria's experience at a maid cafe.
Yeah, talk about unique.
I know. I've read a little about them, but I
This is
just,
so strange.
yeah, they just seem so surreal.
It's such a prime example of that kawaii culture in Japan, like cuteness and innocence and playfulness.
Yeah.
It's fascinating how it's woven into so much of their culture.
Yeah. It sounds like something straight out of an anime.
Totally.
Which, speaking of sensory experiences, they talked about Takeshita Street in Harajuku, and now I'm craving these fluffy Japanese pancakes.
Oh, yeah. Those are incredible, like little towers of fluffiness.
Drizzled with syrup and all that.
The toppings, yeah. And
Yeah.
the street style in Harajuku is so wild.
I can just imagine the sights, the smells, the sounds.
The crowds.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
I bet.
Yeah. But it's so much fun.
Okay, I'm officially hungry now, but before we go grab a snack, let's wrap up our little virtual tour of Tokyo with the sky tree. Did you see that in the script?
Oh, yeah. The views from up there.
Incredible.
Just the scale of Tokyo from that vantage point. And it's such an amazing feat of engineering, too.
I know. I was just thinking that. It's such a cool symbol of like Japan's ambition, too.
Yeah, for sure.
So that was Tokyo. Now, from the looks of it, their next stop was Matsumoto.
Matsumoto.
Yeah, a totally different vibe.
Yeah, much slower pace.
They called it like a charming historical town. What did you get from the script?
Yeah, like you can just imagine walking these narrow streets with like centuries-old shops, soaking it all in.
I saw they mentioned something called Frog Street.
Oh, yeah. Nawate Dori?
What is that?
It's so cute. A little cobblestone street known for its crafts, antique shops, and of course, frogs.
Frogs.
Frogs, they're everywhere.
Like, why frogs?
It's a Japanese thing. They're good luck.
Ah,
Yeah. So you'll see frog statues all over. It's very charming, peaceful.
sounds like a nice escape from Tokyo.
Definitely.
And from Frog Street, it looks like they went to Matsumoto Castle. Have you heard about?
Oh, absolutely. It's one of the most famous castles in all of Japan.
Yeah.
One of the few that hasn't been destroyed and rebuilt.
So the one that's standing there is like the original.
The original, yeah.
Yeah.
Dates back to the feudal era.
Wow, that's crazy. You can practically feel the history, right?
Oh, absolutely. And it's really cool that it's still authentic. You know, it's not a reconstruction, it's the real deal.
I know. Okay, well, speaking of real deal, let's talk about food because I'm curious. What did they eat in Matsumoto?
Oh, they had a fantastic meal at this traditional restaurant. Hiroshima-style okonomiyaki, cooked right in front of them.
Hiroshima style. I know okonomiyaki, but is that different from the Osaka style?
It is. They both have cabbage and batter and all that, but the Hiroshima one has noodles in it.
Oh.
Yeah, usually yakisoba noodles, and it's all layered, not mixed together.
Okay.
It's so good. And watching the chefs cook it is half the fun.
That sounds amazing. Man, Japan just seems like a feast for the senses.
Absolutely.
So we've got the hyper energy of Tokyo, the historical charm of Matsumoto. I'm seeing a theme here.
What's that?
It's like they're experiencing all these different sides of Japan.
Yeah. That's what's so great about it, right? You can have the modern and the traditional, the city and the countryside, all within a short distance.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm excited to see what's next.
Me too. Let's move on to Hakone.
Sounds good.
All right, Hakone. Ready for some natural beauty.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited for this one. I mean, Mount Fuji, right? That's like the ultimate Japan experience.
Iconic.
I know. And I saw in their script that the weather wasn't exactly perfect, but it didn't seem to dampen their spirits.
Not at all. They talked about taking a cruise on Lake Ashi and
Mhm.
said it was like super serene, even with some clouds.
Yeah, sometimes a little mist adds to the atmosphere.
Totally. Like a little mystery, you
I
know?
know. And then, get this, they took a cable car up to Hakone volcano.
Oh, yeah, I saw that part. They said it felt like floating through clouds.
Okay, officially adding that to my bucket list.
It's pretty magical. And Andreas had a good tip, too, if you're really set on seeing Mount Fuji in all its glory.
Oh, what's that?
He said to stay overnight in one of the villages near the mountain. That way, if the weather's bad one day, you have another chance.
Smart. Always good to have a backup plan when you're dealing with Mother Nature.
Definitely. Speaking of planning, let's talk about their advice for traveling as a couple. Because it really seems like teamwork is key for them.
It does. They had some good tips like packing light but smart. Comfortable shoes, especially.
Oh, yeah, that's a must.
And I loved their idea about sharing meals so you can try more dishes.
Such a good idea. It's more fun, too.
Right. Like a little culinary adventure together.
Exactly. And they really stressed being flexible, too, like weather delays, unexpected stuff. That's all part of it.
That's so true. It's not always going to go exactly as planned.
Yup. But it's how you handle those curveballs as a couple that matters.
I know. Did they mention any specific challenges they faced? Just curious.
Not specifically, but they did talk about the importance of communication and compromise.
I can imagine. Like, what if one person wants to go to a museum and the other one wants to go hiking?
Exactly. So it's all about finding that balance.
Yeah. Like, you don't have to do everything together, right?
Right. Sometimes a little space can actually make the trip better.
That's a good point. I noticed their playlist even seems to reflect that. Like, there are some upbeat songs and then some more mellow ones, too.
Yeah, it's a good mix. It's like you can really feel their emotional journey through the music.
Yeah, like the highs and lows, the excitement and the peacefulness.
Exactly. And through it all, you sense this underlying connection, this shared joy of discovering Japan together.
That's it. It's like they're building a story together.
A love story, even.
I love that. Okay, well, we've covered Tokyo, Matsumoto, Hakone.
All very different.
So different.
Yeah.
But I think they've done a great job of showing us the many sides of Japan.
For sure.
Yeah,
It makes you realize that there's something for everyone there.
absolutely. Now, for our last part, I want to get into something that's been on my mind this whole time.
What's that?
How do you think their experience as a couple compares to traveling solo or with friends? Because those are totally different dynamics. for
Totally.
sure.
We'll unpack all of that next.
All right, so we're back and ready to wrap up our deep dive into this couple's Japan adventure.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground.
We have Tokyo, Matsumoto, Hakone, and all those little details from their podcast and playlist. Those are gold.
For sure. But the thing that keeps coming back to me is how different this experience must have been for them as a couple compared to, like, if they'd gone solo or with friends.
Right. That's exactly what I wanted to talk about. What do you think? How do those dynamics differ?
Well, solo travel, that's all about freedom.
Right.
Like, you can do what you want, when you want, no compromises.
It sounds liberating, but I wonder, does it ever get lonely?
It can, yeah. Like, when you see something amazing and you just want to share that moment with someone.
Yeah, or even just like having dinner and talking about your day.
Exactly. But then again, that solitude can also be a good thing. It forces you to connect with yourself and with the people around you.
That's true. You're kind of more open to new experiences when you're on your own.
Yeah, you're more likely to strike up conversations with strangers, try new things.
I can see that.
Mhm.
Okay, well, what about traveling with friends? That always sounds like a blast.
Oh, it definitely can be.
Yeah.
Like you have that built-in camaraderie, those inside jokes.
And you can share all those crazy memories together.
Exactly. But even with friends, there could be challenges. Like what if you have different travel styles?
I know. One person wants to relax on the beach all day and the other one wants to go hiking.
Exactly. Or different budgets?
Yeah, that can get tricky.
It can. So even with friends, communication and compromise are still super important.
It sounds like that's the key no matter who you travel with.
For sure. But I think it takes on a whole new meaning when you're traveling with a partner.
How so?
Well, you're experiencing everything together, side by side, building this shared narrative.
Yeah, and creating memories that become part of your like relationship story.
Exactly. It's
Mhm.
really special. And you can see that in the way this couple talks about their trip.
Totally. They emphasize teamwork, being flexible, trying new things together.
Yeah. And remember how they kept mentioning those shared meals?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like that wasn't just about saving money, it was about experiencing the culture together.
Right. And their playlist, too. It's like a soundtrack to their love story set against the backdrop of Japan.
That's so poetic. I'm getting a little emotional over here.
Me too. It's inspiring, isn't it? It makes you want to grab your loved one and just go on an adventure.
I know. But even if we don't all book flights to Japan tomorrow, I think there's a bigger message here.
What's that?
It's about the power of connection, whether it's with ourselves, with the world, or with the people we love.
That's it. Travel is all about connecting.
And creating memories that will last a lifetime.
Absolutely. Well, I think we've covered just about everything.
I think so too. It's been a fascinating deep dive.
I agree. Japan is such a captivating country.
And this couple's experience, it's given us so much to think about.
Definitely. Whether you're a seasoned traveler or just starting to dream about your next adventure.
There's something here for everyone.
For sure. So until next time, may your journeys be filled with wonder and connection.
And unforgettable